All right. Thanks very much, everyone. Great to be here. Thank you for joining in today. Great to be here at the Chamber. Thank you for hosting me. Today is 5 quick wins for your business with digital marketing. And I'm Max Moore with Gig Strategic. We also have our founder, James Burton, is here today as well. So I've been with Gig Strategic about 2 years, and we're a dedicated digital marketing company here in Charlottesville. James has also done a talk here at the Chamber, so that's why I threw up on the screen here. We work with many local businesses around the area, helping with all aspects of their digital marketing. Just to name a few partners off the bat, we do work with Advantage Home Contracting, Slayton Law with Marshall Slayton, Woodard Properties. I see some friends from Woodard there today. I hope you don't mind me giving you a shout out. And we work with the Preserve, which is a luxury real estate development in Bath County. And we manage all aspects of their online presence. And for me, myself, so I've been with the company about 2 years, kind of came on at the ground level with James. And I've had a chance to get my hands dirty in all kinds of different projects, work with many different companies across different industries, and work all kinds of different marketing strategies out. So I've really enjoyed the ride so far, and I'm excited to share with you some info today. All right, overall, at Gig Strategic, our mission is to help every business owner best understand, manage, and benefit from their online presence. So there's an education piece about this too. You know, we want people to know what's going on online and to understand what's happening with their online presence and then take some action to benefit from that. So the purpose of my talk here today is, yes, those 5 quick wins. So these 5 areas that we're going to go over, it's really designed to be quick things that you can do on your own as a business owner or a manager that are not too technical, that they don't take too much time, and they are free to do. So that is my goal here today. All right, we're talking about your Google business profile, reviews, social media, your website content, and blogging. All right, we'll get right into it. Number 1, your Google business profile. Many of you likely already have this. This is kind of the simplest thing off the bat. Also called Google My Business. They just changed the name recently, but Google My Business, Google Business Profile, same thing. So this is your home base in Google. It's your listing that links to the map, that lists to your reviews, where you have your website and your photos all linked together. Definitely, you need to have one. I recommend that if you don't have one, you get one. Even if you're a service area type business that's not tied to a specific address, you can still have one that says you do this service area. That's just going to give you some a key linchpin in Google. And with these, you're going to want to fill in as much information as possible, just straight up, pretty simple. The quick and easy things, of course, your name, address, phone, website, your hours, and slightly more involved things, your category, your attributes, your products and services, your description from the business. You can put in a little tagline that is your own words and describes what you do. So you want to do that for your brand. And there is also a section for Q&A. So consumers can ask you questions there, and you should definitely answer them if they have some, or you can kind of get the wheels turning and put a couple of your own questions in and also provide answers for them. And at the end of the day, you just want to give Google as much information as possible, as many chances for consumers to find you as possible. Yeah, so take a look. This is the back end of your Google business profile. Just take a look through the sections if you haven't been there recently. There's a lot of great sections. Yeah, just go in, fill out as much as you can. Because this is a key piece in your local ranking factors. So the local ranking that determines how easily you come up in maps and on search. Your Google business profile is the #1 factor in that, and the information in there. That's over 1/3 of your online presence right there. Beyond that, you have your reviews, which also get factored into Google profile as well. Your on-page content on your website itself, the links from other websites to your website and within your website. Then some other minor signals include behavioral signals, your citations and online listing directories, and personalization factors to the people searching for you. But overall, #1, far and away, Google business profile. And I wanted to talk about, what does a top ranking look like? We all see this all the time on the Google results page without even thinking about it. But it's interesting sometimes if you kind of reverse engineer, why did these people come up #1? How did they get there? If you look, it's usually going to make sense. They're people with tons of reviews, with a lot of great information filled out on that profile and nice photos. So it's no surprise at the end of the day, but it is good to just kind of reverse engineer. Cool. My friends at Woodard, I hope you don't mind. I took a quick little screenshot. I thought you were doing a great job of putting photos in here in your Google profile. I think we can see in here. Yeah, so the cover photo in Woodard Properties Google profile has been seen over 950,000 times over the past couple of years. So it just shows the kind of power and the kind of traction and the visibility that you can get when you're adding photos regularly. Yeah, people are used to updating their social media profiles with this kind of mindset, and you can do the same with your Google profile as well. And this is a nifty little trick that not many people know about. You can add posts to your Google Business profile as well. This is something we do at Gig Strategic for ourselves and for our clients. Yeah, your Google profile can accept posts the same way that a Facebook page does or an Instagram page. So you want to have those in there. That just adds some nice regular juice. Keep that going out on a weekly basis if you can. Just gives one more signal for consumers and Google to look at. So when you put it all together, what does an unoptimized profile look like versus an optimized profile? I think you can see the difference. None of these things have too much weight on their own, and you might think, well, that's not that big a deal. It's just like one little review, one little link here and there, but it all adds up. At the end of the day, would you rather go with Carl's Electric or Ernie's Electric? I think the answer is clear. Ernie's Electric has a much better profile overall. You can tell this is somebody who cares about their business and who takes pride in their business and having correct information and managing their brand well. With Carl's, you're like, is he even open? Like, is he a professional service? Like, if someone's profile is that bare, you might wonder how much attention to detail they put in all the other areas of their business. All right, so that is Google Business Profile, area number 1. Number 2, your customer reviews. This works very much in tandem with your Google Business Profile. I'm gonna grab a sip of water here real quick. All right, the main site for reviews is, of course, Google, but you can also have them being pulled in from Facebook or Yelp or some other sites as well. Depending on your industry, if you're a lawyer, there are some specific lawyer review sites you might want to be in as well. So, just to show this again, this is the same graph we saw before of your local ranking factors, but reviews are number 2 in there. 16% of the content that makes you come up in map listings and results listings are your reviews on your Google profile. So definitely huge. And it makes sense. And usually if you do a search, you're going to find websites and businesses with those good reviews coming up first. So this is a search I did of a dentist in Richmond, Virginia, just to keep it objective and see a little bit of a bigger city. So yeah, we can see the top reviews, the top dentists, they got 190, 200 different reviews, 4 5-star reviews. That is a very reputable looking business. I would feel very confident going to one of those dentists out of the blue, just out of the basis of those reviews alone. Charlottesville, it's not a huge city and there's not a ton of competition in most industries. So just from our knowledge that we've seen around, not too many people have a huge number of reviews. Maybe restaurants definitely do, but normal businesses, not too many people are taking full advantage of this. So it is definitely an area where you can get a quick win. You can get some solid reviews on your profile. And at the end of the day, your customers, they are happy. They like working with you. They like your products and services and they want to recommend you. But they're also busy. And it's just not something that's top of mind for people to do on a regular basis if you're not reminding them. So when is the best time to ask for a review? The moment of truth. It's when you've just delivered a great product or service, your customers are happy, you're top of mind with them. Sometimes if right when I'm on a call with a client and we're presenting monthly data or yearly data and everything is good, a lot of growth, we're doing everything that we should be doing, they're happy. I say, hey, you know what? I can see that we've had great success together so far. Would you be comfortable leaving a review for us on Google? That would be really helpful for us. That really helps other customers find us and our services. And just be straight up and honest like that, because we're all humans, we're all vulnerable at the end of the day. But people are happy to leave you a review if you ask sincerely. And then in those kind of scenarios, I like to have a link ready. Okay, great, boom, I'll send you this link right now, live in the chat of the call that we're doing. It's right to our profile on Google, just so they can leave a review very easily while it's top of mind. Because if people are happy to do it, it's just not something they're going to go out of their way to do usually. All right, there are a couple different software tools we recommend for reviews like this. We have a tool within our own platform and our local online presence package that can help you take care of reviews. But also in the interest of fairness, there are plenty of other companies that do this as well, software dedicated to this, such as Bird Eye or Podium. All right, that is your reviews. Those are the two, probably the two quickest, cleanest wins so far. We're starting to get a little more in depth, talk about social media for a moment. So this is not your grandparents' social media these days. It seems like the lifespan of social media trends is very fast and things are changing very quickly. And you probably noticed that in your own browsing or your own posting. But since it was so recently, I mean, Facebook is only 15 years old, maybe. Instagram even less than that. So it's still very fresh and recent. We remember when these things were new and it was easy to get traction. You just make a post, it goes live. People are already liking and clicking and sharing on it. Very good organic reach back in the day. But that has been changing quickly. So we just have to keep that in mind. But there are still some strategies that make social media very viable. We do have to recognize it's increasingly becoming a pay-to-play platform if you want like huge reach. And at the end of the day, that's okay. Like these platforms don't owe us anything. It was never free to be on the radio. It was never free to be on TV to do advertising. So if you want, extended reach, then you might have to pay for it. But it's still very affordable and accessible at a scale that no other media types have been before. This is only the natural result as platforms have become more saturated. Facebook has straight up revealed that organic business page posts only reach 2 to 5% of your followers on an average basis. Instagram is heading in the same direction. Instagram's a bit better organic reach right now, but I have noticed it declining even in my own posts and browsing. And like I said, at the end of the day, this is just a natural consequence of more eyeballs being on those social media platforms, more ad space becoming more valuable and more viable for businesses who are willing to advertise. But all things considered, you can still win on these platforms with the right strategy that is pure organic and without spending a bunch of money on advertising. So there are two strategies we could consider within this. One I'll call the basic social media presence, and the other I'll call the social media battle ad plan. I'm just going to talk about number one for today because that's probably where I think people might be and what's the best use of our time. All right, but all these things considered, you still need a social media presence, 100%. So this is your basic social media presence, as I mentioned, simply because it's becoming the ground floor of being active on the internet. Customers look to social media to build trust and brand awareness. If you don't have one, if posts aren't going up, or if it's really old and outdated, people are going to wonder, like, are you open? Are you alive? Is stuff going on there? Are the lights on? Customers still take action based on social media, even if it's not directly from a post. Some clients we talk to get like super in the boxes and the weeds of their ROI tracking platform or their Salesforce or whatever, and say, oh, this box goes to this, and I can track my ROI. Not everything you do online is going to have a nice, tidy ROI path, and that's okay. There are all these kind of things you can do in your general online presence that still factor into consumers' decisions. They see your post and maybe they call you later, or they click through to your website, they browse around your website, they remember you, they take action later. The constant scroll. This is crazy. I don't know if you ever just walking around and you take a moment just like to be present for a moment and you see how many people are on their phones walking around. It's really crazy if you notice it these days, and kind of feels like people are zombies sometimes, standing in line, waiting, standing in line, walking around, lull in the conversation. Even at traffic lights, it's driving me crazy these days. Like, light turns green and people don't go because they're on their dang phones. I don't know if this is happening to you guys, but it's definitely happening. So it's just another place to be top of mind with consumers. You got to go where the eyeballs are. One more reason you want to have a basic social media presence is because it gives you authority in the search engines. So this is the page one Google results for Gig Strategic. I just like to show you how we implement these strategies and like how much real estate we get to take up on Google because we do this. So of course we have our website, that's number one. We have our Google business profile, that's nice and optimized, that's right there too. LinkedIn is the number 2 result. And then if you scroll down farther, our Facebook is there, our Instagram is there, our Twitter is there, and then below that we got a chamber listing, so that's great. So these social media sites have huge domain authority, and when you're active in them, it just gives you another chance to be found on the Google results page, and it makes you look very credible. Okay, all that being said, what does a basic organic social media plan look like? Just make it a point to say, all right, I'm going to do this. It might not always be flashy and I might not always see the clicks and likes I want, but I'm just going to commit to this as part of my business plan. Just take 1 to 3 hours a month, plan out a couple of posts, maybe have one go out once a week, plan it all in one chunk so you don't have to worry about it later. Definitely Facebook and Instagram are still the places to be these days. You can post to your Google profile, as I mentioned before, in the Google section, and LinkedIn, depending on your industry, if you're kind of a professional service-based industry. TikTok is kind of new and fun, and it has that feel of like when Facebook and Instagram were new and fun again. So if you're up for it, I highly recommend you get on TikTok, and there you can blow up organically still. The organic power is very high, but majority of the folks we work with don't really do that, so I won't spend too much time there. You're going to want to use a calendar or post planning tool. There are lots of options out there, and it makes it easy just to do it all in one swoop. That one time a month you do it, you plan it out, they'll go out automatically, you don't have to worry about it. We have a post planning tool and a calendar like that within our basic online presence package. That also includes the review software I mentioned. Take advantage of video for sure. Video has very high engagement rates on social media platforms these days. Number one, is because people like to see it. And number two, if you shoot in portrait mode, even like an informal mobile video, that's what people are looking at on social media because they're on their phones. So it takes up a lot of space on the screen. So it gives you more real estate there. And this can be informal, and people like to see the face and the personality behind the brand. So I do encourage you to do video in that regard. Also, if you can adopt new features of the social media platforms as they roll them out, that is going to be a key to getting organic reach. I know Instagram Reels right now, they're really pushing Facebook Stories, Facebook Video, because these platforms want consumers to use their new features. So they're going to prioritize creators who are doing the new features. So definitely Instagram Reels, Stories, Facebook Stories as well, and their own video platform. And anytime, just keep an eye out. What's new, what's happening. If you can jump on that, you could be an early adopter and you can make a big splash. All right, 5 for 25. This is one more idea. If you're willing to spend like 100 to 125 bucks a month on Facebook advertising, it can be a great way to see your engagement with different audiences and test what kind of content you might want to do. So just take 5 simple posts, put a $25 budget on each of them, and see how they do. And you're going to get, hundreds, if not thousands, of engagements, or hundreds, if not thousands, of reach. People seeing these posts. So it's a way to kind of tap into the audience that is still there on Facebook. 5 for 25. All right, great. That is social media content.
Fast for social media. Nice.
There was one. Fast.
Covered all of social media.
I know. I tried to cover all of social media in like 5 or 8 minutes. Yeah. All right. We're at 23 minutes. Okay. Squeeze it all in. Website content. So this is the actual content on your website itself. So we all probably have a website. We know we need a website. That is not news. But just as a reminder, what purpose does your website serve? Number one, of course, it informs your customers about your products and services. You want to have all your info delineated there. That can attract new customers looking for your niche if you can be found in Google search results. It should allow customers to easily contact you and make a purchase. It can also serve as a library of media content. This is another perspective that I like to think about for websites. Just make it a habit, post photos and videos on your website, have a gallery page and little bits here and there. And then after a year, 2 years, you have a really nice record and documentation of all the work you've done over the past couple of years. And it can also allow you to easily answer FAQs and post updates about your hours, your special events, promotions. A couple quick areas within this website content. You want to have customer-facing language. You want to write with SEO in mind, and you want to have a clean navigation structure. I know I'm going kind of fast, so I apologize, but this recording will be available afterwards and on the Chamber website, so there'll be a chance to review everything we talked about. All right, does your website have customer-facing language? We all fall into this trap, and I think we're probably guilty of it too at Gig Strategic even. All of us are dedicated professionals, and we're in our industry and in the lingo and the jargon every day, and it seems second nature to us. And we often forget what a customer is thinking about and what their knowledge level is when they're first coming into your kind of field. So you want to make sure that the language on your website is easily digestible for a first-time customer. All right, quick example here of 2 different cybersecurity websites I found online. If you can see, but I'll go ahead and try to read this here. All right, cybersecurity company number 1. We are an advanced technology consulting firm specializing in data center designs, Arista Cisco Nexus, cloud, multi-tenant managed services, and typical enterprise data centers. IPv6 network assessments and managed services for companies that do not have the expertise in-house to support more advanced technology. That was all one sentence. We're an organization comprised of motivated and entrepreneurial engineers. Now, I'm sure these guys do know what they're doing and they know what all these fancy data things are, but I don't, and most consumers probably don't, and I start to get lost in the sauce. This is a little bit better of an example, I thought. So with today's nonstop threats, cybersecurity is more important than ever. We use best-in-class services to build a custom strategy for your business, including cybersecurity, mobile protection, and cloud backup and recovery. We'll be monitoring 24/7, so you don't have to be. We'll make sure your business is safe online. So this speaks a lot more to the customer and puts it in terms they can understand, and gives that peace of mind. What are you really buying when you're buying cybersecurity? It's that peace of mind, because it's intangible, so that you know that your website is safe, your data and your customers' data is safe. So I like this example much better. Something to keep in mind. When you're writing for the web, it is a little bit different than if you were writing an academic essay. I don't know if any of you have hired like recent college graduates, but sometimes they still have those habits from college where they're trying to fill space and like trying to write that 5-page essay, that 10-page essay. You get used to writing with that kind of fluff. You don't want to do that when you're writing for the web. You want to keep short, punchy sentences, simple vocabulary, a little bit simpler than you feel like it should be. Short paragraphs with plenty of line breaks, lots of headings and subsections so the reader can easily navigate where they are. And frequent use of your keywords. So these key terms that you want to be found for, make sure you're using them liberally in your website content. And tell the reader exactly what you want them to do. People's attention spans are really short online, and if they're not familiar with this website, it's hard for them to kind of get where they're going. So tell them exactly what you want them to do. Buy now, add to cart, book a consultation, contact us today. All right, last piece within the website content here, write with SEO in mind. So SEO is search engine optimization, and that just covers everything that factors into you being found easily on Google. So everything we talked about does kind of work with your SEO. But a specific SEO approach would be identifying your SEO strategy first, and then write your website content from there. You don't want to try to ram SEO in after the fact. So what does that mean? Choose between 5 to 8 key phrases, your key service areas that you want to be found for. If you're a plumber, I don't know, plumbing, pipe fixing, drain fixing, leaky pipes, I don't know, just different keywords that a user is likely to be looking for. Also, tie your city area in frequently. If you're here in Charlottesville, use Charlottesville a lot in your website and say, hey, we are a plumber in Charlottesville that fixes leaky pipes in Charlottesville. Because when someone is looking online for a plumber in Charlottesville, it gives you that much more opportunity to show up. And you do want to use these SEO terms in your page titles and headers a lot, because that is those categories have a lot of weight in your website based on what Google sees and how Google reads your website. All right, we are getting a little short on time, so I'm going to go quickly through navigation structure. But basically, you want a nice, clean, organized navigation structure. Let's skip a little bit here. Yeah, generally, you want a flat site architecture. It should be easy to reach every page of your site within 2 to 3 clicks. You could have a deep site architecture if you have like a very niche type of business with a lot of technicalities and very specific products and services. Then a deep site architecture could work as well, but you want to still make that very easily to navigate, and no page should be too far away. It should be 2 or 3 clicks away max. All right. At the end of the day, there are no tricks anymore. Google's smart. People sometimes ask, like, what's the SEO hack this month? Like, how do I get there #1 on Google? There are no tricks. Google is smart. Google wants to connect consumers with quality, reliable, trustworthy businesses who are experts in their space. If you can organize your website to show that you are the expert and you have a lot of quality, thorough content that people want to read, you'll rank highly. All right, so this was just real quick within web content, talked about customer-facing language, write with SEO in mind, and have a clean navigation structure. All right, I just have one more section, which is blogging. I know we're coming up on 30 minutes. How are we doing for time? Keep going? All right, this is about a 5-minute section. This is so great. It's like everything I've been thinking about for the past 2 years, and finally I have a chance just to like tell people all at once. You know, gotta get this out. Okay, so blogging, kind of like what I mentioned with social media, blogging still has that flavor where it felt like a couple years ago you could put one out there and it would get found immediately. You just got to put a couple keywords in it and no problem. Not quite the same anymore. It is a little bit more of a saturated space, but it's still very valuable to have a blog. Still plenty of reasons to have a blog. Number one, search engines prioritize sites with regular content updates. So just like you're updating your social media profiles regularly, you can update the blog on your website regularly. Google will see, oh, this is a website that has a lot of activity. Let me put them up higher. It gives you more opportunities. Oops, sorry. Pardon me. There we go. More opportunities for you to include content about your keywords. You know, you don't want to have your main website content too cluttered with like overly technical information and, you know, 10 paragraph pages and essays and stuff. But when you write the blog, this is a chance for you to get a little more in depth and really talk about the knowledge areas that you really shine in. And it gives you more opportunities to be found for different keywords within your industry. Number three, it's a way to build trust with potential consumers. It's a way for you to keep them updated on what's going on with your industry and show your knowledge beyond just like the basic knowledge that you would put on a website page. Number four, it's kind of a way to be a little less formal in your business, and you can kind of take a step back and even make it a fun thing. Share what's going on in your life, share about things that are kind of tangentially related to your business or just like interesting case studies you see coming up. You know, just keep a running dialogue with your customer base. A blog is a good way to do that. And number five for blog, it's just a rewarding new habit. I don't know if anyone here likes to write, but it feels good when you write something and you get your ideas organized, you put something on paper, you put it out there for the world to see. It's rewarding. And I think it's just a good personal habit, all things considered, to keep your mind fresh and organize your own thoughts. All right, what kind of results can you get with a blog? This is a blog that one of our clients wrote. We didn't write this one for them, unfortunately. I can't take credit. It was just one they had on their website. So this is a landscaping company, and they wrote a blog about perennial maintenance, what kind of perennials to cut back in fall and spring. It was simple. It was nothing mind-blowing. It was like maybe 400 to 500 words, but it's good expert knowledge, and everything on there is quality content. So before this blog, they were probably getting 1,000 to 2,000 visitors to their website every month. All of a sudden, it just picked up steam and it really blew up in Google. Google judged that this is like one of the best pieces of writing possible on this subject. Then October 2020, when it blew up, they got 16,000 visitors to their website just from an organic 500-word blog. And this trend has continued and allowed a continued stream of visitors to their website. Even beyond that, it's lifted up their website, all the rankings. They're number one for a ton of stuff because Google saw that there's a lot of visitors visiting the site, engaging with it, and they have good behavior signals. So let's promote the rest of their content too. A blog is also a way to gain a featured snippet in Google. So a featured snippet is this card that comes up. You'll see it sometimes if you're asking specific questions in Google. Sometimes Google will crawl the web to find the blog that has the best answer for that question. And this is one that one of our clients actually got. This is a blog that we did write for them. It's Hospice of the Piedmont. And it was a blog about the benefits of seniors and children spending time together. So kind of a niche question, kind of specific thing, but still a good thing to know about and to report about. And it's great to get this visibility. Number one answer to this question out of 55 million results. All right, and wrapping it up, you can earn money with a blog eventually if you develop a really strong blog. You can open up ad space on your website if people are seeing it, and you can even get paid to have affiliate links to other products and services in your space. All right, thank you for sticking with me so far. We are rounding the corner. The gripping conclusion that you've all been waiting to see. All right, so you're probably thinking, okay, these are all great. In an ideal world, I'd love to be doing all this. I have limited time. I have limited bandwidth. I need to make money straight up in my business. I need to do something that makes money. Do any of these actually make me money? Kind of as I mentioned before, customers don't live their life in a straight line. Customers are you and me. At purchasing decisions, in your own consumer behavior, you don't immediately go type website, buy, like a robot. Like, there are many things that influence your purchasing decision of what kind of brands and products and services you're working with. People buy things they know and trust from companies they know and trust. So you need to be online. All of these areas, if possible, they all build up your online presence. You want to be there and be sticky in all these online avenues if you can, because all this influences your brand, and it's part of being a good business with a good reputation these days. Kind of laid out like this, like, which business would you rather be? Business A, they have a hard time tracking ROI directly from any of these things. They don't put too much time in it. It's like, like, these things are okay, but I don't see any sales from it, so I'm not going to prioritize it. Or business B, they say, you know what? Even though it's hard to see sometimes, I think all these things are important. I'm going to make digital marketing a top priority, and I'm going to max out all my categories for here if I can. I'm going to get a bang in profile, reviews, social media, website content, and a blog. That just creates a very powerful presence online and offline too, because your online presence mirrors your offline presence and what you are as a brand and who you are and what kind of attention and detail you put into your company altogether. So at the end of the day, who would you rather be? All right, thank you very much. That concludes the presentation part of this talk. My pleasure to be here with you. My name is Max Moore with Gig Strategic, and I will leave the floor open for questions now.
So I think we can turn your speaker on this laptop that's running you on Zoom so that people can actually speak up.
I have a question. There aren't any you don't just yet.
Hey guys, I'm Anne Marie. I think that we can work this so that you guys can ask your questions out loud. Sorry, it's our first time sort of doing a hybrid meeting in quite this format, but let's try it out. Does anybody have a question for Max that they want to unmute and speak up?
Maybe I'll start.
Any from the crowd? Yeah, get us rolling here.
Yes, so this was a fabulous presentation, and everything about it made sense. My question for you is, this presentation was geared towards us kind of doing it ourselves and trying to, work on this. And I'm curious about Gig Strategic and your relationship with your clients, and how, if someone decides that this is really important and they want to go all in, but they don't have the time to spend on it, what are the kinds of, services that you provide?
Wonderful question. Thank you for asking. So yeah, the question was, if someone says, yes, these things are important, but I don't have the time myself as a business owner, what does it look like to work with Gig Strategic? So number one, our base package is called our local online presence package, and that'll be some things to get your Google My Business profile optimized. There's a review management tool within there. We have a social media calendar in there, and we also sync your business listing to all the important online directories online. So that's our basic local online presence package. That's only $200 a month. We do have other service areas beyond that. We can do a social media plan with social media posting. We'll get some posts rolling for you on a regular basis. We do have monthly blogs we can write with folks. We have SEO plans where we find 7 target keywords for you, kind of like what I mentioned before, and we help you rank higher in Google in Charlottesville for those keywords. And then beyond that, we have digital advertising packages and some different kind of things we can do there. And overall, what is it like to work with Gig Strategic? we love the local community. We love kind of educating along the way. We want you to understand what's going on. Frequent communication, clear, transparent, affordable, accessible for local businesses. Those are our values.